Okay, something is wrong with Apple, and I don't want to worry you. If you have Apple products, I don't want to worry you, but you need to see this.
Yeah, so Apple might have been scamming us, and now they are cooked.
I just want to know, has y'all phone been as up as my phone been since that iOS 26 update?
Apple, this is literally only for you. It is the first week of school, and your iOS update is f***ing me. Quite literally.
This new iOS update is literally ruining my life.
Okay, yes, I am an Apple product user. My wife have an iPhone, I have an iPhone, she has a Mac, and we have an iPad we use occasionally. But we purposely stay away from the newest updates unless it's mandatory. And if that is the case, we take the time to read the fine print and go through the settings to turn off and adjust anything we don't agree with. But this might be pointless, and it might be a waste of time. On the surface, it may seem like it's just one of those updates that Apple just happened to get wrong, but I'm starting to realize it's way deeper than we all thought. Way deeper. I'm gonna just put it like this. It's either Apple is completely cooked, or they cooking up something big and Apple users are the cooked ones. You see, Wikipedia just posted a video titled, "What's Wrong with Apple?" So we gonna watch this and we gonna see what's wrong with it.
What is wrong with Apple? Apple invested $20 billion over the last 4 years on AI. Then they took all that investment, flushed it down the toilet, and decided, screw it, let's just pay Google $1 billion per year instead. The surrender was so humiliating that Apple literally begged Google to keep it secret. But then, Apple held an emergency board meeting, gathered their brightest minds, and announced their latest groundbreaking innovation to save the company. And they announced, a sock. They made a sock for your iPhone. I'm not even kidding. The trillion-dollar company
crazy.
just became your grandmother who knits phone cozies. But it gets even worse. This came right as Apple announced the iPhone Air is literally dying. They're slashing production by 1 million units.
Ooh.
However, if you get your tech news from memes like I do, you're only seeing the tip of this melting iceberg. There is more to that bourgeois ballsack. And giving Google $1 billion every year might actually be Tim Cook's Godfather move. Keep your
Giving Google $1 billion? Giving Google $1 billion? You gotta pay attention to that.
friends close and your enemies closer. Plus, and this is where it gets spicy, Apple might still have a secret plan that can maybe, just maybe, flip the entire table, but they only have one last chance. That Apple sock, or as Tim Cook calls it with a straight face, the iPhone Pocket, is it really dumb, or am I just too broke to understand? Apple dropped this fashion disaster on a random Sunday in 2 flavors of financial mistake. Short strap for $149 for people who want to waste money.
That is a crazy price, first of all, and it doesn't even look like fly, or it doesn't even have no style or drip or nothing to it. I could have thought of so much better things.
Responsibly, and long strap for $229.
But it's crazy though. You know what's crazy? The crazy part is that if you slap the right name on it and promote it with the right people will be willing to pay top dollar for stupid stuff like this. Brainwashed. We gotta get out of that.
For those who want everyone to know they make poor financial decisions from across the room. The internet's reaction was chef's kiss beautiful. People said it looked like Borat's mankini.
It does.
Someone called it an insanely expensive sock, which is insulting to socks. And others asked if Apple was okay, like genuinely concerned for their mental health. But here comes the plot twist that'll make you question reality. This thing sold out completely in hours. I need you to understand this. Actual humans with functioning brains stood in physical lines in New York City to buy it.
I really wonder if people really went out and bought this, like what they thought about it, what they said. I really wonder.
I finally got the iPhone Pocket. It's an accessory made by Apple and Issey Miyake, a famous clothes brand. This is the shorter version in the sapphire blue color, and I have to say, this 3D knitted material feels very premium.
And y'all wonder why y'all get trolled so f***ing much, because you come up with what?
I may have gotten scammed. Well, you bought the Apple sock, obviously. That's not what I mean.
I was showing it to some friends and they were saying, wow, the knitting is beautiful, the color is perfect, where can I get one, blah, blah, blah. Eventually someone said, oh, what is that? And I said, oh, it's the designer that made it, whatever.
Then I hear, why does it say iPhone Pocker on it? What's an iPhone Pocker? I said, what? Give me that. What the hell is a phone Pocker? Pocker? I should have known. I should have known at the plastic wrap, dude. There's no way Apple sold these in plastic wrap.
Apple's been doing this forever. The $19 cloth to clean your screen, the $700 Mac Pro wheels, the $999 monitor stand, and people fall for it every
$1,000 for a
single
monitor
time.
stand?
But here's where Apple's magic tricks stop working. Apple doesn't always get away with it. The iPhone Air, to absolutely no one's surprise, except Tim Cook apparently, is failing miserably. Apple just announced they're cutting production by 80%, and the humiliation doesn't stop there. The next-gen iPhone Air has been straight up canceled from the 2026 lineup. It's probably heading straight to Apple's graveyard to join the iPhone Mini and iPhone Plus. But somehow, this isn't even Apple's most embarrassing fail this year. Apple is finally surrendering and moving on from their denial phase. After Apple Intelligence turned out to have everything but intelligence, Apple did the unthinkable. They admitted defeat. Let's talk about Siri for a second. It's remained essentially unchanged since 2011. It's so broken and unreliable that asking it...
Do you use Siri? I turn it off on my phone. I don't like anything hearing, listening, or anything that could just do anything based on something that I said, because it's always listening. I don't like it. Same thing with Alexa. Don't like it. Don't like those home things where you could talk, and don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Stay away from those things. If you do have those things, make sure that it's cut off when you're not using it. Completely off, like unplugged off, like off.
For the weather is a 50-50 chance of getting either the forecast or a web search for leather. So Apple's brilliant solution: pay Google $1 billion every single year to use their Gemini AI to completely rebuild Siri from scratch.
That's crazy.
Launching March 2026, allegedly. They're literally renting intelligence from their biggest competitor. Why Google exactly? Excellent question. Apple speed dated everyone. OpenAI, Anthropic, probably even DM'd Meta at 3 a.m. And they picked Google because it was the cheapest option. Anthropic wanted $1.5 billion. Apple saved $500 million by going with Google. And what will they do with those savings? Probably develop the iPhone thong for the iPhone 18, a designer piece to elegantly cover your USB-C port from the creepy cables.
That's real?
I see you have another question.
I hope that's not real. That must be AI.
Apple is worth $3 trillion. Why can't they build their own AI? Apple doesn't collect data. They're the Virgin of tech companies, while everyone else is getting freaky with your information. Their entire business model is built on privacy. What happens on your iPhone stays on your iPhone. Meanwhile, Google sees everything. They feed all that juicy data to their AI models. Plus, AI engineers are abandoning Apple like it's a burning building. Meta's offering them $30 to $40 million per year. Imagine choosing between $5 million at Apple or $40 million at Meta. Google already pays Apple around $20 billion per year just to be the default search engine on Safari. So, taking a $1 billion from that money, which is literally 0.00003% of their market cap, is not that bad. Apple burned $20 billion and ended up with a pathetic 150 billion parameter model. And with this deal, they're getting Google's 1.2 trillion parameters model. That's 8 times bigger. But what about privacy? Apple claims they've got it covered. Supposedly, Gemini runs on Apple's private cloud servers, not Google's sketchy basement. Google can't see your Siri requests. If you believe that, I have an iPhone thong to sell you. But here's the real kick in the teeth. Apple loses everything they stood for. No more vertical integration. No more we control everything. They're now Google's AI sugar baby, completely dependent on Daddy Google for intelligence. Apple refused to collect user data for years, but by being the good guy and not collecting data, they had nothing to train their AI on. Meanwhile, Google was hoovering up everything, so now Apple is paying $1 billion per year to Google for AI that was trained on the data Apple refused to collect. It's like refusing to fish because you're protecting the ocean, then buying fish from the guy who's been dynamiting the reef.
Just off that information alone, you gotta assume that eventually Apple is gonna want to cut out Google and start collecting data on its own so it could program its own AI and save all that money. Eventually, you gotta assume that that's gonna happen.
Apple just pledged $600 billion to the US government. This $600 billion that they are pledging over the next 4 years is mainly going towards manufacturing, towards things for AI like data centers, chips, and mining those chips. Remember how they're selling all our public land? Yeah, they're $600 billion to extract shit, basically, and build huge-ass data centers to just destroy our environment. They're saying it's about creating jobs, but the real reason they're doing that is to avoid all the tariffs on imported chips. Also gives them access to government contracts and really just cements their foundational part in the very huge surveillance state they're setting up. It's corporate fascism. They lock users into closed ecosystems, and they share your biometrics, location, all your data to literally anybody. And now they're in bed with their government weaponizing our data. They're building a massive digital control infrastructure.
Apple is so embarrassed they begged Google to keep quiet. They even refused to say Gemini internally. They call it AFMV10. So is the Apple magic officially dead? No, not yet at least. Gemini is just a band-aid on a bullet wound. Apple's secretly building their own trillion parameter model while using Google as training wheels.
So let's look into how the iPhone new update is really affecting like people now.
Why is Apple Intelligence so horrifically bad? Anytime you ask it to do something, it is a toss-up of whether or not it's going to answer it, or if you asked it the most difficult question on the face of the earth. Like, hey Siri, play Mr. Brightside by The Killers. Okay, working on it. Still working on it. Something went wrong. Something always goes wrong. Go back and watch the old commercials when Siri was first introduced back in like 2010 or whenever it was, and ask it any of those questions in those commercials. Like, hey Siri, I'm in the mood for pizza. It cannot answer that question. Tell me, like, honestly, ask it right now and tell me in the comments what it says. That's technically not a question, that's a statement, but you get my point.
Apple, what the fuck is wrong with my maps? Why the fuck does it look like that? Why the fuck am I all the way over there? It just don't make sense at all. What the fuck am I looking at?
No, because why would Apple make this update? Why would they make this update? And I know every time there's an update we complain about. This one's different. Why do I have to find the phone number for the top 5 people I call almost every day? I can't find their... I'm gonna crash out over technology. I'm old. I'm officially old.
I don't know why, but for some reason, we've all collectively become brainwashed to believe that all iPhones are superior to all other phone companies, when in reality, they're actually dog shit.
So where does this leave us as Apple product users? What are you gonna do about the fact that your iPhone is basically probably your worst enemy? Me personally, I'm gonna just keep on reading the fine print, and I feel as though if you are worried about anything that Apple is about to do, currently doing, or putting themselves in position to be able to do, stay up to date with everything that's going on. So is Apple cooked? Are you cooked? Are you going down with Apple? Are you dying with the Apple brigade? Are you Apple till you die? Apple or die? Is it? Is that the thing we doing? Apple or die? Apple or die? Die with Apple? Yeah. Is it Apple or die? Apple or die? Yeah. Is it Apple or die? I don't think it's Apple or die. That would be crazy. Apple or die? Burn down with Apple?
I can't fuck with none of y'all niggas, y'all disgust me.